Okay. Well, folks, the topic of the fourth turning keeps coming up, and I'm afraid that it may come up a lot more. What we're talking about here is a book written by Neil Howe and William Strauss in the late 1990s. And Mr. Howe also now has a new book called The Fourth Turning is Here. And one might say, well, there's always doom and gloom, right? Fear sells, okay? And it's true. There are always doom and gloomers. There are apocalyptic type people from various angles, some religious, some environmental, etc., etc. Well, what Mr. Howe is all about, and unfortunately Mr. Strauss is not with us anymore, but Neil Howe is still around. And no, he's not my uncle. It'd be great if we had him on the show at some point. We'll have to talk to our producers, and maybe our people can talk to his people. We'd love to have you on, Mr. Howe. Neil Howe, though, you can find him in various interviews with all kinds of people all over YouTube and other places. He's a very interesting man. And what the fourth turning is all about, and a lot of Mr. Howe's work is about generations and cycles. And the fourth turning basically is sort of I'll just try to do a brief synopsis, these 80-year-ish cycles, folks. In other words, we had the Revolutionary War at the end of the 1700s, and about 80 years or so later, the Civil War here in the United States, 80 years or so later, World War II, 80 years or so later-ish, about now. So, and you look around, you just turn on the news, and you hear about all kinds of things. Of course, the Ukraine mess with Russia, this recent mess starting October 7th, very sadly, in Gaza between Israel and then Hamas. And then now things seem to be escalating with both Hezbollah also attacking Israel, and the whole situation getting very much out of hand. Then we have all the threats between China and Taiwan, et cetera, all over the world. Our bases are being shot at in Iraq and Syria. And you see all this, and you just say, what in the wide, wide world of sports is going on here? Okay, well, it may be the fourth turning, folks. If you're not familiar with it, again, I would say it's worth a little bit of your time. I'm sure the book that they wrote in the late 90s is available at your local library. So I'm not telling you to go buy anything. And you could, of course, flip around YouTube, look for Neil Howe. That's Neil, and last name would be Howe. And it talks about the different cycles. And this isn't just about him or his books. This is others as well. Ray Dalio, big heavy hitter at Bridgewater Securities. Big heavy hitter in the financial world. He's got a book out there too called The Changing World Order. He also talks about cycles as well, and many others do as well. And it's kind of funny. There's a song out there. Maybe you're familiar with it. It's the Byrds. I don't know. It's like probably 50 something years old now. And to everything, turn, for there is a season. Now, the Byrds was a hippy dippy song. You may be familiar with it from Forrest Gump. It was used very well in that film, by the way. But the words they're horrifying, basically, ladies and gentlemen. And they are from the book of Ecclesiastes, one of my favorite books of the Old Testament. It's a rather melancholy and rather somber book. Again, if you're not familiar with the good book, you might want to look at the book of Ecclesiastes. It talks about a season, a time to be born, a time to die, time for war, etc. I hope, folks, we are not in those times, but as you watch the news, if you're wondering what's going on, well, we may just be. Again, I think this is something we are going to be coming back to and revisiting now and again. The Fourth Turning by Neil Howe and William Strauss that came out in the late 1990s. And again, today, Neil Howe has a updated book called The Fourth Turning is Here. And then that's Changing World Order by Ray Dalio, something else to look at. And, if you're kind of an astronomy kind of person, if you care about things that are going on up in the stars and outer space, yes, there's a solar maximum that's supposed to be coming quite soon as well. Some think it's going to come sooner than it was projected. I think it was projected to come 2024 or 2025. Some are predicting it actually could happen before 2023 is out. So, a lot of good news, a lot of fun things to think about. What do they say? Smoke them if you got them. Anyway, more and more of a reason to love one another and try to get along. And let's strive for some peace in this crazy world. Thank you for your time.